Yeah, I want to take you back to when you were a younger boy growing up. You were the fifth of seven children. Your mother really did everything she could to make ends meet. Her husband maybe wasn't around as much as everybody would have liked. Your biological father you learned about only later on in life. How scarce was food for you guys back then at the time?
I've always been motivated by food because I was always hungry. There never was enough to eat for me. I was always hungry. And there was never enough food for various reasons. One lady, it's hard to take care of, 6, 7 kids at one time.
How special were the pancake Sundays every other Sunday?
Well, my mother was she couldn't afford to have, 3 meals every day, but on Sundays, there would be one meal that would last all days, and whatever she would fix would be just fine with us.
Tell about the hamburger on Fridays.
Well, because my mother was a short order cook, of course, there would always be a hamburger. Sometimes she'd afford to bring home one from her job, and she'd have to split that thing about 5 or 6 different pieces, and I can still taste that delicious burger, parted so many ways.
Really? Now, I mean, you would usually, I believe, have mayonnaise sandwiches for school. You'd bring them from home for the school lunch, but sometimes I understand you wouldn't be able to afford to bring lunch for yourself to school. So in those instances, what would you do with the brown paper bag?
And it's just such a shame when you're so poor and you don't want everyone else to know that you're so poor. Really, you're not poor, you're poor. and a couple of days would go to school at certain times, and you didn't want the kids to know how destitute you were. So you take a paper bag with a little grease on it, and then show the kids, like, I ate my sandwich on the way to school. That's why I don't have any lunch today. You make preparation for those things.
Explain how the clothes that you wore to school impacted the education you got back then.
A lot of times you just didn't want to go to school because you just didn't have the clothes, and you hide. So you try to find a way to get something nice to wear for a few days, and you go to school for a few days.
Would the teachers focus less on you if you didn't have nice clothes?
Well, in my younger days, it always seemed like if you had a lunch, nice clothes to wear daily, the teachers liked you more. They seemed to gravitate to you more. Those who didn't have, you can believe they didn't have the teachers' blessings as well.
Considering the area you grew up in the Fifth Ward, and how tough of a district it was, how much does it mean to you to now have a brand new school there?
And there's something centrally located. There was a school, a youth center. All of that was right there in my midst. I didn't know how to appreciate it. Today, with the help of a lot of friends and families and people who've attended that school, it's the state of the arts now. One of the best schools, not only in the community, but in the state and in the world. Right there at Atherton. And I like to think that I pass through those doors, and I constantly make appearances that tell children that it doesn't matter your beginnings, what you've had in life is what you want in life. And that school, Atherton, represents that for me, because now the best school is in my old neighborhood.
And you mentioned what you said to children who you've spoken to, but you're obviously representative of that. You mentioned the only school you graduated from being the elementary school, and you really struggled in school. Somebody who's similarly facing difficulties, whether it be because lack of desire or the other outside influences that could create difficulties in school, what do you say to them to give them the encouragement that they can still have success in life?
Yeah, that Atherton Elementary School I point at it all the time. Even I point to my children, I take them past it. Look where I started. And it didn't stop me. As a matter of fact, this could have been a place where I learned to read, and the reading has become the best thing that ever happened to me. I've become a writer, a fighter, and all of that, but it doesn't matter where you're from. Take advantage of a good education, and you'll never go wrong.